really had like a horrible experience that I would ever take back. Even if a project didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go, it's kind of a learning experience. You look back and you say, wow, I'll never do that again. Or you say, this is what I learned. So it's all been fun. Playing Prue on Charmed was... Thank you. It was a delight. I think, sort of what she went through. In the beginning, she was very, like, I'm the older sister, I have to keep it all together. And then towards the end, she got a little bit more fun. She relaxed a little bit. Doing those stunts, I did all my own stunts. And it was grueling and taxing and so hard on my body, but it was so rewarding. To actually be able to do Matrix stunts was really, really, really cool. So I absolutely loved that experience. And Mallrats. Mallrats is super cool. You have Jason Mewes, which you all have met here, right? So Jason used to, we all stayed in the same hotel on the same floor, and Mewes would just skateboard up and down the hallway the entire time, up and down, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like, it was a frat house, basically. It was just all of us, like, gathered together, hanging out, making this movie. Kevin Smith is the man. He, as a director, rocks. As an actor, I think he's brilliant. And he makes everything fun. Like, you don't even feel like you're making a movie. You just feel like you're a group of people hanging out and doing your thing. So Mallrats was definitely one of my favorites as well.
Okay, that's great. I heard you're setting up your own production company called No Apologies. Is this true? And if so, could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, so I did. I started a production company called No Apologies. I wonder where I got that name from. And I actually produced a movie of the week that I did. I co-produced it with Francis Ford Coppola, which was my first foray into producing, and that's not a bad partner to have, called Another Day. And I produced Breaking Up with Shannen Doherty, and I'm going to be directing a feature film, actually. It's based on a book called Crossroads, which is out right now. And my company will produce that as well.
Okay. I also heard that you're bringing a book out as well. Can you share a little bit about the book, please?
Yeah. Well, the book is called Badass. And I think it's about, the book it's a fun book. It's not like me, it's not an autobiography. I'm not going to tell you that, I got screwed up as a kid, because I didn't. My parents were fantastic. It's more about, you've got bad girls and you have badasses. And it's defining the difference. I, in my 20s, was a bad girl. That's not a good thing to be. Finally, in my 30s, I'm a badass. So it's kind of like a fun book about the difference and how you go from being a bad girl to being a badass. And what a badass entails. And then, there's for the women. Maybe for the men, maybe you're going to be a little scared of your women now. There's a chapter called Stalking. I actually condone stalking. I think it's brilliant. I think that if you are concerned about where the hell your man is, why not go see where he is, right? All the guys are like, can you just shut up right now? Stop giving our chicks ideas. Men, you don't want this book to come out. So yeah, it's about, women sort of taking over and saying it's okay. We don't have to be bitches to be heard or seen or be your equal or anything else. It's more just about embracing who we are as women and saying, yeah, we have the right to do this and this and this, and doing it all in a very sort of fun, lighthearted way.
Okay, speaking of Charmed, I'd like to take this moment to introduce your fellow co-star, Krause, also known as Lyrics and
You are badass, by the way.
welcome to the stage, Brian.
Thank you. How was everybody?
Doing well. Doing well. Happy to be here.
Great. So far, you're known for your role as Neo from Charmed, and you have various credits including Stephen King's Sleepwalkers, and you were also in an episode of Michael Landon's Highway 7 as Miss Shannen. Shannen also has history working with Michael Landon from Little House on the Prairie. And other credits of yours include Return to the Blue Lagoon and American Summer. So Brian, what's it like working with Michael Landon?
It was actually one of my first jobs ever starting out. I think I had like 4 lines on Highway to Heaven. And actually one of the things I remember is how genuine and how nice he was, and took me in on the set. First day, here I am brand new, never been on a set really before. Made me feel comfortable and accepted, and I belong there.
Okay, I heard that you were starring in Toolbox Murders. Is this true? If so, can you tell us a bit about this one?
Yeah, it's something that's going to be coming out. I guess it's Toolbox Murders 2. We're still waiting on the last bit of funding. I would play like a detective trying to solve the whole crime. And eventually it goes down. Evil blood.
Okay, so guys, in Charmed, I know you said the show's about magic and witches. Did anything weird or spooky ever happen on the set?
Weird or spooky? I think every day was kind of weird or spooky, quite honest with you. No, I don't think anything extraterrestrial kind of ever happened, but I think I started having weird dreams after, like a year or two, and I don't know if you did, or I know some of the other people did, but it's like just, maybe reading the scripts too much and kind of believing I was magical, but I can fly! Yeah, that's for sure. Sometimes I just wanted to disappear.
So, if you guys could have any power, what would it be?
Well, morphing and disappearing and appearing where you want to be is pretty good. I think there's plenty of times where you'd be like, oh God, I want to be in Hawaii with my girl, or I want to get the heck out of here because of whatever. I think that would be a pretty good power to have.
I'm going to go for the really you guys know. I don't know. I think for me it's going to sound really cheesy and funny, so I apologize ahead of time. But I actually think his power of heal is the only power of everyone. I really would want to be invisible and overhear people's conversations because I keep some other people actually about it. But yeah, the power of heal I think would be pretty amazing.
Okay, what is your favourite crew moment and what is your favourite Neo moment?
My favorite crew moment was when she were asking for powers and became literally like Neo from the Matrix. It was just so weird, it came out of nowhere. And all of a sudden she was doing this crazy stuff, walking on walls and backflips. And I was like, it makes no sense, but damn, it's really cool.
Favorite Leo moment? I guess when I was dead and they brought me back to life. That was. It always works. No, I didn't get a chance to do a lot of stunts and stuff like all the girls did. So there was only a few episodes where I got to actually kind of have some action, which were always fun. But yeah, always coming back to life is always. They're absolutely my favorite. Yeah, I was treated the best.
That's right.
Shannen, please turn your microphone on so they can switch in front. No.
Way you make me feel smart.
Okay, so what was your favourite episode then?
I mean, my favorite episode was my last episode, and not for that reason. It's not that. A, it's pretty cool when you get to direct your own death scene. B, I directed it, and I think I directed 2 episodes prior to that, but the 3rd episode is sort of, I think, where I came into my own as a director and sort of figured it all out. And I got to do the coolest stuff. I worked with a 82-foot crane, and the only person who had used it prior to me was John Woo, and I'm a big John Woo fan, so that was pretty phenomenal. And I just think the whole episode had a darkness that Charmed didn't have prior. The lighting, the moods, I think the acting was superb. I was able to really actually push Brian quite a bit in the scene where Holly died. And I think his performance is excellent. And Holly's always been one of my best friends. I knew her way before Charmed. She lived with me. I've been through hell and back with that girl. And I was able to look at her, knowing her so well, and sort of say, really? Is that it? Give me more. And I would just keep pushing her, and her performance is amazing. So for me, it was rewarding on such a different scale. It was rewarding to see what I consider to be phenomenal actors give their absolute best on TV for an episode to not even look like TV. I thought it just looked fantastic, and to sort of bring it to life and direct my own death scene, very cool.
Was it difficult to switch between actress and director filming those?
My first episode, if you guys watch, it was the one with the genie. He's amazing. What's his name? French Stewart. Any close-up of me, my acting in that episode sucks. But any close-up of me, you'll see me like this. I'm like looking everywhere but at the person I'm speaking to, and it's because I'm thinking about my next shot, and I'm trying to make sure the camera is moving the right way and that everybody's on their marks. I was so sort of distracted by the whole thing. And then after that, like one episode, and all of a sudden it was really easy to go back and forth from directing and acting.
Okay, since you have directed and produced, have you ever thought about going even further and writing your own scripts?
Yes, as a matter of fact. I'm in the middle of writing something right now.
Okay, that's cool. Well, we look forward to seeing that someday.
Yeah, someday.
Okay, Brian, I know you wrote a Charmed episode, Sense and Sensibility. What was that like writing for an episode you were in?
Well, I kind of get, there's always knickknacks on this set, and just the idea of it came because there's this little, three monkeys, hear no, see no, speak no evil, that was on the set, I think, from day one. So I think I was just sitting there one day, and it kind of struck me, and so I pitched the idea to Brad, Kern, our exec, and they liked it. And, the experience was nice. It was good for me because I'd never been in like a big room of, like a writing room. It's always been me and my buddy writing at home, doing our own thing, and over beer or whatever. But to get into where there's actually a staff of writers and see how they break it down and bust it out was definitely taught me a lot of how they don't listen to you, and they do listen to you, and they take your ideas and make it their own, or just kind of how it all went down.
Okay, what did you guys do on the set when you were not in the scene?
I think we all did different things.
We did all do different things. We were spending so much time together. I think everybody just kind of went their own way and went to their trailer.
Holly pretty much hung out in my trailer nonstop.
You guys were great friends.
Like I said, we were friends prior to the show, so it was sort of a natural thing for. I don't think her trailer ever got used. She was just sort of a permanent fixture in mine. But yeah, I think you're working 12 hours together. And having little conversations in between, takes that when you actually have a larger chunk of time, like 15 minutes, you sort of run to your trailer and just sort of unwind for a minute and get away, I think.
Get on the BlackBerry, the laptop, read the paper.
Okay, I heard that you were the choreographer for Holly and Coyote Piper.
Yes.
And you taught her how to dance. Can you tell us how that came about?
It was, Holly was very, very, very nervous because she's not a overtly sexy girl, and I think that what Holly never realized about herself is that there's something so sexy about her. She just didn't really know how to tap into it. And she was really nervous, and they were hiring all these choreographers, and she was going to meet with them all, and that made her uncomfortable. And so on our lunch break, I said, well, let's go into the bar and just like sort of play around. And I was obsessed with Rage Against the Machine at the time, and And I put that on, and I got up in the bar, and I just started dancing. And she was like, well, I like what you're doing. And I said, great, okay, so here's a routine, and I'm going to teach you. And so, yeah, we didn't hire anybody, and I worked with her for a couple of days, and I got stuntmen in so that she could, the kicks or the beer bottles just in case, because nobody else could get hit. And it just sort of came to life, and she really tapped into like that side of her.
Okay, it was a great episode anyway. Okay, so you guys, what is it like to act out in a scene that requires special effects to be added in later to complete the scene, and then as an actor or actress go back and watch yourself in the scene with the special effects added in?
This is what it's like. There is a demon, and he has snake eyes and skin, and blood is dripping out.
Oh gosh!
Okay, now say the spell.
Everybody go! Power of 3, everyone! Oh, we did it! And then we go back and watch it again? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, it got to the point where I think the third season that I was on, it was sort of, they would be like, well, you guys would be more scared, and we would all look at each other and be like, okay, seriously, we've seen enough demons where these don't scare us anymore. We can just sort of, act blasé. But it was basically exactly like Brian just acted out.
Yeah, especially when we're on green screen. A lot of movies these days are done on green screen, and I mean, I think it's so much different than doing actual physical stunts or rigs or whatever, because you're really looking at nothing, and the imagination has to be. I think that's when you're most active. Like if you're going to be active,
But also, it's kind of better, to be honest, because some of the demons were kind of silly looking.
Yeah.
So we got to sort of imagine whatever it was ourselves, so we could make it as scary as we wanted, and it was easier to act with our imaginations than some of the stuff they actually put in.
So, do you guys have any plans to work together in the future?
I mean, we haven't seen each other in years.
Right.
We have tons of mutual friends. That I don't know. I mean, I love Brian. I thought Brian was always great to direct and great to work with as an actor. So he's fantastic.
Appreciate that. I think the same.
So, do any of you have any new shows or movies in the pipeline you'd like to share with us?
Nothing that I know I have a release date for. A few things coming out. Sci-fi movie called Cyrus, which is serial killer, freaky, whatever. Looking for a release next year. And then like a Hallmark movie that I made last summer that might be coming out in November.
Sweet. I'm doing one right now.
It's called You're So Cupid. I play Cupid. It's just like Leo. I think that's why I got cast.
Okay, that title's so good. Do you want to know what I'm working on right now for Hallmark? It's called Growing the Big One.
Should that's on HBO?
Right? Am I doing a porno? I have you guys all know FearNet? So I have a animated web series coming out on FearNet called Mary Carey. That is super, super, super cool. I just did the voice for it. I played two different characters, Mary and Carrie. Mary is super obnoxious, kind of like high-pitched and crazy, and everything is rosy, even though all these kids in her school are trying to kill her. And then her sister is actually dead, Carrie, and she's kind of, like me and raspy and thinks she's badass. And she's always protecting her sister, so therefore she's always killing the kids in school. It's a very, 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 very cool thing, and I have the movie that I'm directing soon.
Okay, we'll look forward to that as well. So guys, what character or TV movie role has a personality similar to yours?
She's killing me.
Leo? Magnum P.I.?
I mean, do you want to know who we fantasize being? I'd love to be Carrie Bradshaw just because her clothes and shoes are, amazing. I want that closet. But, God, I don't think there's a character on TV that I can pick.
No, I think that's the one thing about TV as opposed to doing movies. I think in TV it's kind of generalizations of character, and it's hard for me to watch it as much as in films where you can actually real people. I think identify with a little more myself.
So out of all of the roles you've played, which role did you find the most impacted on your life? Like, which one really created an effect on you? One that stuck with you the most?
For me, it would be Brenda. And I think that's because because people just associated me with her. So I've been having, basically, my career on past Brenda, I've been having to sort of counteract Brenda. And it's exhausting, I'll tell you that much.
I'd say doing the Return of the Blue Lagoon has probably made the biggest impact on my life. Just in filming the movie, we're in Fiji for 3 months, and being down there alone, and first time away from my family, and kind of taking care of myself, and being on an island, and dealing with sharks, and almost dying, and just like this whole kind of growing up and growth that I went through. I think it just changed me as a person.
Okay, so do any of you have any regrets, career-wise, or do you feel there are only lessons? Go ahead.
Regrets? No, I think there are only lessons. I mean, there's always there's jobs that I've done and things that I've done, but I try not to look at life with regrets at all. I think everything's a lesson, one way or the other, and we choose to go forward for some reason or another. This is the path, and to look back and say, oh well, I shouldn't have, or I shouldn't have, or I shouldn't have. It's just kind of a negative spot. But I hadn't lived in that way, and there are definitely certain movies that I've done, and certain mistakes I've made. But I think it's all in part of growing.
I'm kind of the same way. I mean, I definitely don't think that you can live with regrets. I think that we all in our lives look at things that we've done and say, oh, I wish I hadn't done that, or I wish I wish maybe after Heathers I had stayed only in film or whatever. Or somebody will come up to me and be like, dude, I can't believe you did that crappy ass movie. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just like you. I have bills to pay. I support a family. So we all do what we have to do to live and pay our bills, make sure our mortgage is paid, make sure, the people that we're responsible for have food in their mouths. So there's not one movie I would take back, because I look at every movie as, wow, that paid for my dad's hospital bill, and it did this and it did that. So there's, and like I said before, it's kind of, with every movie, even if it was a really bad one, you learned something on it. You learned, okay, maybe this wasn't worth it, so I'm never going to do that again. Maybe I'm not going to compromise myself to that extent. But you learn something. They all sort of make you grow as a human being in the long run.
Yeah, they do. Okay, so who would you both like to work with again?
Again, or just in general? I have people that I'm dying to work with that I think are, fantastic. Working with, again, Kevin Smith, for me. I'd love to work with Kevin again.
Again, I don't know. I hate everybody. Again, I don't know. Yeah, definitely people you want to work with. That's a tough question. Shannen Doherty. The Charmed movie.
I think somebody just heard you on that one.
So, are there any plans for the Charmed movie then?
No.
Not that I've heard of. No, it's no, not that I've heard of.
Okay. I know you both probably get asked a lot of questions over and over. What question would you like to be answering that nobody ever asks?
Are you really a bitch?
I'm not. So I haven't been known to be. What question? Do you still have your loincloth? I do. Actually,
our amazing guests.
Here, when I give, you guys can just ask questions and pass the mic around, I think. That's good.
This is for Shannen. One of my favorite movies you did is Friends Till the End.
Thank you.
How nervous were you singing? Because your voice is really awesome. I mean, I love it, but I always wondered, how nervous were you?
I was really nervous. That was me singing. I was incredibly nervous. We practiced and we practiced and we practiced. And we practiced so much. I have nodules on my vocal cords. And they got inflamed. And the day before going to the recording studio, 3 days before going to the recording studio, I lost my voice completely. So I had to go to the doctor every single day and get a cortisone shot in my ass. So, but the end result was that, I got to do something that I never thought that I would do. And I'm actually currently writing some songs and thinking about doing an album. So, that movie sort of inspired that in me.
My question is for Shannen. So, are you really a bitch?
So, anyway, security.
She definitely isn't a bitch. She's a really nice person.
That was good. You're funny. I'll see you outside. I'll take you down. Anybody else?
This question is for Shannen. I'm actually wondering what made you decide to leave Charm so early on?
That's a painful question. I think that there are times in your life where you come to a crossroad and you decide that either you can continue working on something that for the most part is fun, but there's maybe a particular thing that is just not so much fun. And for me, that moment occurred, and I had to make a choice, and the choice was either I keep on going in every single day for however many years and encounter something that was so incredibly unpleasant and that was negative and just not good, or I can break off and leave that atmosphere and try to do something else. And I obviously made the choice of breaking off. What I can say is that looking back now, I loved doing the show. The 3 years was, awesome. And I'm really, really, really glad that I had those 3 years. But I'm also very happy with the choice that I made for myself.
Hi, this question's for Shannen. How was it playing Jenny on Little House on the Prairie?
She was great. I was, I think 12. And Michael Landon is, there's been a few rumors out there about Michael due to somebody else saying some very negative, horrible things about him. So I'm going to go on record right now and just clear it up for you guys, if you care. Michael Landon was one of the most generous, loving, just supportive men that I've ever encountered in my entire life. He took care of me from day one. He, in spite of what other people say, never smelled of alcohol. He was not an alcoholic. He was loyal. I mean, loyal. The crew that we worked with had been the crew on Bonanza. So they went from Bonanza to Little House to Highway to Heaven. It was the same guys who showed, like Teddy Woodland, I can name them all. Everybody loved Michael. And he just, even when he was sick, it was like he couldn't do enough for everybody else. His last concern was about himself. So he's a magnificent, magnificent human being.
This is questions for both of you. 90210 and Charmed are two of my guilty.
You're like that girl.
we just got married the other day.
Nice move.
90210, Charmed, two of my guilty pleasures. What are some of yours that, something you watch on TV or something that's sort of a guilty pleasure?
Oh, guilty pleasure. Gosh. Oh, God, am I really going to admit this to you guys? Okay. America's Next Top Model. It's so embarrassing, I know. There's just something about it. I don't watch until they get like the final girls and they go into the house, but they're all like so catty and crazy, and Hell's Kitchen is I mean, Gordon Ramsay, come on, with the piss off. Like, I just love how he treats people like crap and they take it. Those are some of my guilty pleasures as far as TV goes.
Yeah. I'm going to get you a mic.
This is for both of you.
Okay.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Favorite scary movie? I think for me it's old school, The Omen.
I don't like scary movies. Now they freak me out, man. I don't mind being in them, but gosh, yeah. I mean, like Halloween and all those, Friday the 13th. Probably up there. But I get scared really easy.
Hi, this question is for Brian. You had a son on Charm named Wyatt. I was wondering how the relationship between, because it looked like he was really caring towards you, and do you still keep a relationship with him now, considering how long he was in your life?
Right. We actually, over time, I guess it was a couple different sets of twins that would come in, and then eventually we were with the same twins for probably 2 or 3 years. So when they were on the set, I have a son myself, so it was kind of nice to have little children around, and they were cute. I was always able to help get a reaction out of them, as opposed to some other people that would they would cry around. A lot of people. I don't still keep in touch with them. I haven't seen them at all. I would imagine they're probably 7 or 8 years old right now, which would be funny to see them. They'd be like,
Would either one of you consider going on Dancing with the Stars?
I turned it down, season 2. For me, I don't know. I think there's something to reality where I think you can do it like once or twice, maybe, but I don't know. It's one of those, you feel like perhaps you're not working in the industry that, I think the one thing about SAG and our contracts and everything you hear and our industry breaking down and there not being money, and you get so many actors now that are doing so much reality TV that it really is taking away from actual roles, and money and everything's kind of diminished. So, to actually go and do these things and support reality more and more, kind of, to me, it's not what I want to do. As far as I just feel like I'm an actor, and but it just feels like you're doing it for the money to me. But I guess if they came to me again, I might say yeah.
You'd say yeah. So I got offered at season 1 and every year since, and I wouldn't do Dancing with the Stars. I have a little bit of a different philosophy on reality TV than Brian does, and that's that I think that we're actors first and foremost, right? But we're also human beings, and I think that the public in general, and my big thing in my career has always been about doing what my fans want me to do. The only reason why I did the first season of the new 90210 is because the internet demanded it. Like, my fans logged on the internet, they demanded that. I heard it all loud and clear, and so I went back for them. And that's how I've always sort of, or how I'm doing things, I guess. I have the most loyal fans in the world, and I know it. And because I do, I have to be loyal to them as well. So I think that there's something very interesting about reality TV that I used to be very, very, very much against. I used to agree, and I still do to a certain extent with Brian, that it takes away from real jobs. But what's a real job, right? We're actors. Nothing we do is real. So to me, if you can expose a certain part of your life to your fans, and they're getting an inside glimpse into you and what goes on, not only are they getting to know you on a much more personal level so that you're connecting with them, and it's kind of like a thank you. You're maybe getting the opportunity to open them up to something totally new and different, right? Like, for instance, nobody knows that I now have a passion for flying. I'm taking flying lessons. My boyfriend, who's sitting right over there, is a pilot, and I've been up in the air with him, and we've had a few scary moments where we hit a lot of turbulence, and I thought that we were going to die. And I looked at him as he was sweating, going, "Oh, we're going to be okay," and decided that if he had a heart attack, why should I die with him? Shouldn't I know how to fly a plane? So because of that scary experience, and he was sweating, I really thought he was going to have a heart attack. I decided that I'm going to take flying lessons, and I actually love it now. But people don't know this about me. They don't know that I'm dedicated to my family, to my parents, and there have been moments in my life where I've sort of stopped and thought about it, and there's a lot of rumors going on right now about maybe I'm doing one. And I'm not going to confirm. I'm sort of talking about what it would be like, and if I did it, what would it entail? But it's definitely something that I'm exploring now, because also as a businesswoman, I think that you have to recognize the business that you're in, and you have to recognize how it's changing. There's a reason why reality shows have become so incredibly popular, and there's a reason why it's taking over TV. And I, again, like to actually pay my bills, and I also really love connecting with people. So if I can mix those two things that I like to do, and connect with my fans and my audience, and do it in a way that makes me feel sort of safe and secure, then it's definitely something that I would explore.
This is for both of you. Is there an episode of Charmed over here? Is there an episode of Charmed you wish you didn't make?
That we didn't make? Oh, that wish we would have made? Wish we didn't make? Because there are a couple I wish we didn't make. Is that it? Yeah, I mean, there was a few moments, like we were talking about green screen and special effects and stuff. There was quite so many times where you just feel, the pretending and the demons and the stuff. There was a few. Every time I had on a yellow sweater. Yeah, that episode. So yeah, there's a couple.
I hated the one where I turned into a man. I hated it. First off, the character, the look was based on an ex-boyfriend, so I was kind of making fun of him on national TV, which I thought was cool a little bit. But it was like to go to work and get facial hair put on, and they made me a prosthetic, and just, everything changed, and I didn't feel like a chick anymore, and I felt really unattractive, and the crew made fun of me all the time. I think that one I would love to erase.
Is there a chance, or is there a place where the stars can just go by themselves, like reunite and just talk about things and just chill and just have a rap session without paparazzi or anybody around?
Our houses.
It's called
or it's called rehab, like Brian just said. I think a lot of them do that.
It's almost like a private club setting, just for you guys to go and just
I think there's this very, very, very big myth that that actors hang out together. Okay, granted, I'd love to be in the George Clooney, Matt Damon crowd. I wouldn't mind hanging with those guys. But, that is such a rarity in this business, in truth. Like I said, just for Jimmy and I to get to the level that we're at, which is actually really, really good friends, took how many years? When you work with somebody 5 days a week, sometimes in a movie it's 6 days, and your hours are 12 to 16 hours a day, sometimes longer, the last thing you want to do is see that person ever again. You're like, wow, really? Do I have to see you? Like, didn't I spend my whole life with you? For me personally, I've always looked at it as a job that I love and that I have a lot of passion for, and it's my outlet, and I love creating a character. But it's still a job. Like, I have my friends that I've known. We have the same friends, Roger and Jason, and like this whole crew. I've known them since I was 17 and a half. Those are my friends. Those are the people that they've been in my life forever. I know that I can trust them. I love them. They're my family at this point. So those are the people that I want to hang out with when I'm not working. I don't want to actually hang out with people I've already been with all day long. So I think it's this very large myth that we can all blame on George Clooney, that actors hang out.
Is there more to that? I actually don't have a lot of active friends. I mean, I do have a few, but most of my guys are from high school, or I met golfing, or doing other odd things. I think a lot of actors are too vain and into themselves, and it's not really fun to hang out with sometimes. So
That's why Ryan and I see you.
that's why we don't hang at all, because I'm constantly quaffing. She hates that.
Anybody else? Are we good?
We're done.
Want more?
Not working on anything now. I start a movie in a couple of weeks. It's called Rain from Stars. It's 12 jurors sequestered in a room and deliberating a case of a murdered woman who comes back in a ghostly form and starts basically picking off one juror at a time, and they start disappearing from this locked room, which is it's kind of cool.
Okay, well, it was great having you both here in Florida. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Shannen, for being part of the website. Myself and the members really appreciate it. I wish you both the best of, all the best of the future. Thank you.
Thank you.